What's up, everyone? Jake Blaine here with Apocalypse Movies. I am joined today by Brian Avalosino, and we're here to do a full spoiler review for Blockers, the brand new comedy starring John Cena, Leslie Mann, and Ike Barinholtz. This movie is all about parents cock-blocking their kids on prom night. They kind of find some stuff on their computer, go on a little adventure to kind of, stop them from having the sexual experience because they don't want them to grow up. They're seniors in high school. They want them to kind of experience some things on a different route, whatnot, and so... right off the bat, I think that we could both say that we were very much looking forward to this movie, not just because of the trailers, but because of the word of mouth that it came out for this movie early on. A lot of people have been enjoying it. A lot of people were getting a good laugh out of it, and so we were looking forward to it solely because of that reason. And I think that I can speak for the both of us. We actually really enjoyed it. And
yeah,
it had a really good amount of laughs in it. There were some really good moments in it as well, and at the heart of it, it is a really good story. So. For me, I think the breakout in this movie is John Cena. He is
100%.
so good in this role. We saw him in Trainwreck in the opening scene with Amy Schumer, and he just kind of took over the screen with that sex scene that he had with her, and he does it again here. He is so good playing this kind of badass father, but then is very soft on the inside with the crying and doesn't want his daughter to grow up.
Badass is kind of almost an overstatement. he's soft.
Oh, he's definitely a teddy bear in this movie, but there's also moments where, like, when Leslie Mann's trying to pump him up to do stuff, and he's like, yes, coach! Yes, coach!
Anything sports related.
Is so good, and that kind of leads to my favorite scene in the movie where he sees Leslie Mann's daughter has a boyfriend in the movie who, actually, the kid who plays him is from Riverdale. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I thought he looked
familiar. He plays the douchebag in Riverdale.
Yeah.
So they go to his parents' house to try to find a phone to get an address. They catch his parents having sex. There's a fantastic scene in this movie where they're watching through a window. The two dads lock eyes while they're having sex. John Cena and the other dad. And it is the funniest moment in the movie for me. And he says, oh my God, we locked eyes and you finished. It is so good the way that John Cena says it. I think about it and I just laugh. It's worth going to see again just for that moment. But there are so many moments in this movie for like that. A few things that you may have liked, Brian, maybe a few things that you possibly didn't like. Is there anything that really stands out to you?
John Cena. John Cena takes this movie and makes it his own. Leslie Mann was really funny in it too. I thought she had a lot of good one-liners. As far as something that I didn't really care for was Ike Barinholtz's story.
With his daughter or his?
His.
Okay.
He is kind of like estranged because of his wife and him getting a divorce because he cheated only to later find out that she cheated and his was kind of like retaliation in a way. And so he ended up staying away. That story was just way too much. In the movie, and I felt like they explained it every single time.
Yeah, it was very repetitive. Very repetitive.
And it took a lot away. And I felt like they kind of held Ike Barinholtz back a little bit.
Instead of letting him do doing things.
Yeah, because he's funny when he's all over the place wild and stuff. And he didn't really do it that much. But other than that, it was hilarious. There were so many funny parts throughout that movie.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think his story was definitely the lesser of the three parent stories that were going on. But there was also a side story with him with his daughter, the fact that he was distanced with his daughter, and we find out that his daughter is actually a lesbian, and he knows just by looking at her and kind of knowing who she is.
He knew from the beginning.
Yeah, and it's all about them kind of connecting, and she eventually comes out to him, and they do have this really good moment. But then he's like, oh, let's take a photo. He's like, I just want to cherish this moment.
Yeah.
The way he kind of delivers lines is really good because he's pretty much just like the louder, better version of Kevin Hart in a way. He doesn't get old from what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a few things for me. I think that the Leslie Mann story with her daughter, I didn't enjoy it as much as others, maybe just because I felt like it was kind of just pushed too far. It could have been wrapped up very easily, but they kind of extended it more than they needed to, in my opinion anyway. Especially when they kept going back to, or she kept mentioning how when she grew up, she kept doing these things, and they mentioned it maybe 2 or 3 times. I only needed to hear it once. Personally,
I agree with you on that aspect. The UCLA part got annoying to me.
Yeah, they kept going back. Just do it once or twice. Yeah. Don't keep going back to it every 10, 15 minutes or so. You don't need to.
It should have been maybe one in the beginning, maybe a quick thing in the middle, and then the end.
Yeah, exactly. And, So, yeah, I want to talk about all the spoilers. I mean, I know it's a spoiler review, but I do want to save a lot of it for the movie, just because it is such a good time. Like, it's worth the ticket price on this one. I felt like John Cena's daughter was really good.
Yeah, she was my favorite of the three kids, because she was kind of just like a I'm gonna do whatever I want type kid, whereas the other ones kind of already had their own agendas. And,
Yeah, like, she was the one doing drugs and drinking alcohol.
And her prom date was hilarious. Especially
the scene where John Cena threw him through the wall.
I was dying. I was absolutely.
And he just gets up. He's like, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay." He walks out of the room.
Yeah, it was so funny. That part was good.
No, I mean, there's so many of those small moments in this movie that make it worth the trip to the theater. It's definitely one of the better comedies going right now. I highly recommend it. I know Brian highly recommends it as well. I'd even be down to go watch it again. So
it's definitely one of those ones that it'd be fun to take someone
it's a group
who hasn't seen it. And you've already seen it, just so you could listen and watch the reaction.
There was so many laughs in that theater. The only thing with our experience is that there was actually a kid in ours.
Yeah, there was like a 5-year-old kid.
And this is not a kid movie whatsoever. There's balls and sex and like all this type of they go for it in this movie.
Yeah. They don't hold back.
I do have one question for you though. Like the butt chugging scene that we saw in the trailers, did you enjoy it as much as you had hoped, or would you have wished they saved it for the movie?
They should have just saved. They should have like mentioned it or like somehow like
teased
hinted
it maybe,
to it
and not shown the whole thing.
And then because if we would have saw that when it happened, people would have lost.
I remember when we saw that in the trailer, we freaked. Like that was
that was the part where everyone was laughing their butt off.
It would have been the highlight of the movie for sure.
Easily.
I also feel like they maybe should have just teased it a little bit. Yeah. But it was pretty funny the fact that. And so I mean, out of 10, Brian, what are you thinking as far as a score?
I'm gonna give it an 8. It wasn't like super high. It wasn't super low. It was like perfect semi-ground in the middle.
Nice. I'm just gonna go slightly above you at 8.25. I think I enjoyed it just a little bit more. I broke out in laughter at least twice, like just absolutely dying from John Cena. It was a really, really good time. So yeah, Brian gives it an 8. I get an 8.25. Thank you for joining us on our Blocker spoiler review today. Check us out on apocalypsemovies.com. This YouTube channel. Give us a share, like, comment, subscribe. We really, really appreciate the support. That is Brian. I'm Jake. Thank you again for joining us, and until next time, see you later.